Somebody's early. That's great. Oh, I got lots of stuff I want to talk about. So bear with me. We'll be starting in a few minutes if that's okay. Anybody show up yet? People are showing up. Good, good. Listen, on people on YouTube, can you hear me? Last time the audio wasn't good, and I wonder if the audio is better this time. So let me know if the audio sounds okay. Somebody on YouTube, that'd be great. Um, I'm sorry I didn't notify you guys earlier. I was doing this. Boy, just time. Loud and clear. Oh, there you are again. That's nice. Midori. And you're the cook. You're the cook. I would think there's a big business. And you're in a big market, too. I mean, I would think there's new ways to do that than ever before. But you probably know better than me. Being in the business, yeah. But let's see. Okay, we got a quorum here soon, huh? What's going on? I don't know. You see, there's just been a press release about the finance, um, consumerfinance.gov. They got like $12 billion back for people who were getting scammed by financial service people, and that's why we need, government has its role. Who else is going to fight some big bank for you? You can't, I can't. Maybe some other big bank can, but that sort of eliminates the little guy getting, and more opportunities to get screwed by these people who hire all the lawyers to write the contracts, right? That we never read and do it. And, I don't know. It seems like we got to have a morality clause somehow. Well, they make things legal, but is it moral? That seems to be the real question, huh? As long as it's legal, it doesn't matter how moral it is, right? So that's sort of interesting. Okay, let's wait another minute or two. Maybe some folks join us. I wonder if you're going to join us? You're going to join us? Come on, who wants to join us, huh? Who wants to join us? Yeah, and here's a way to get me. Let's Go Free Radio at gmail.com. That's a good way to reach me. And if you don't hear from me in a day or two, just beat on me again, because I'm an old fart and I get involved in a lot of stuff. I got 1,500 projects going all the time, and I want to do them all before I die. So it's Let's Go Free Radio at gmail.com. I'm trying to see what. Oh, I missed that. How do you get on there? Oh, I can't see. Okay. I'm trying to see an old message people putting up, and I miss it. So let's go do it. And actually, if people need help personally, the best way to get me, if you want to pay for something, $1 a minute on letsgo.com/talk. And I'm really helping a lot of folks like that. Just in about 10-15 minutes, I can really point you and also get the resources for you to send them to you. So I'll do the research, tell you the best places to go for free money to do what the heck you want, and then I gather those links to you and send them after we talk. It usually takes me about a day to get it, but to me, it's probably the least expensive way and the least complicated way, for people to really just narrow in and try to solve the financial problem they have right now. And because the reports I do, at letsgo.com research really are like reference books on the subject for you, personalized reference books for the problem. So whether it's housing, so you have a complete listing of all the programs for that, or getting money to live on, you have it all, for all that, or starting a business or a nonprofit. So I give you 300 pages sometimes of all the stuff that you could use for the rest of your life on free help that's available. But today, we're going to talk about jobs, right? Everybody, I mean, that's the name of the game. I think it is, God, I got this something. How do I get this thing where, how can we, boy, I miss something here on Periscope that I can't see the word because it's blocked out. It says volume. I don't know. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so let's talk about jobs. You know, I mean, that's what we all want to do. I mean, you know, we say we're lazy, we don't want to work because we don't want to do a shitty job. But we all want to contribute. That's what we're here to do in society, really, is help each other in their lives. And we do that by providing goods and services for other people. And that's why I always thought about artists, you know, that they were so fortunate because they knew what they had to do for other people, is entertain them or show beautiful sculptures or painting or artwork of some kind, or if you dance, then you could, you know, help people's soul by your dancing or singing or whatever it is. And the rest of us have to find what our art is, you know, or how we want to contribute. And your art, to me, life insurance salesman, yeah, that's an art for some people, and that's why you can't say it isn't. We don't know. It's a complicated society, and when you find what your art is, then you could give more of it than anybody else. You could do it better than anybody else, you know, and then it's not drudgery. Then you're not working towards retirement. You're working towards helping people, you know, with what your skills are. You know, whether it's building a bridge that you love to do and you think you're here on earth to do that, you know, or it's writing porno or whatever it is, yeah. That's what you think you're here to do. So how do you do this? How do you get to do that? And I'm reading another book now, the dream hoarders, people that are hoarding or like the rich people. And that's why, because if you're rich in this country, man, you can go to the best schools, you can do all this, and it's like, you know, starting on second or third base, you know, but most people can't. They can't do that. So how do you do that? So what I'm trying to do is show you tools that are out there. Now, I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to profess that these are the best tools ever. These are the best things and the only things, and you're stupid if you, no, these are options. What I'm just showing you are options you should consider. I can't guarantee that every one of these works for everybody. That's stupid. Nobody can. You know, you know, how can I get paid to write porn? Stay with the conference and I'll show you how to do that. But that's it. You have to know options, and that's what I'm trying to do to people. I'll show you 100 different options, you know, for you to find the job that you really want to do. Get whatever you need to do that, you know, and it may not be perfect, so you may want to get, you know, somebody write you a check for $100,000 and then you'll do, you know, X, Y, Z. Well, you know, that may happen, but you have to plan for if that does not happen, because everything doesn't happen like in the movies, you know, and you have to work your butt off at it and find alternative ways. You know, that's the key, is finding alternative ways. If you're reading about stories of somebody did this, or some expert says, you know, you take $1 and you invest it in here and you become a zillionaire, well, I mean, that may have worked for them or whatever, but you know, who the hell knows if that works for you? And 9 out of 10 times it's not. I've written 100 books, and I'm a professional writer. I make a living out of this for 40 years, and only 10 of my books made money. So I'm wrong 90% of the time. So that's what you have to do. When you go out and you want to do something in life, you can't bet the farm that the idea that you spent years thinking about and how to get there. You went to these courses and these seminars, and they showed you the magic of getting this to happen. And all you have to do, my friend, is give me $1,000 and follow this code. You know, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to fail too, you know. And what you've done is probably just waste money. But it's a learning experience. That's how all of life is, you know. And what are you going to do when that fails? And that's the key to life, because then you have to start trying other things you never even thought of. And that's what's so neat about failing. It makes you smarter. Man, you never knew what's inside of you until you start failing at stuff. That shit doesn't work. When that doesn't work, then you got to dig deeper. And that's when you grow. If you're just skimming the surface and think, oh, all I have to do is do this and that's easy, you know, you're not growing. You know, like lifting weights. If you would lift I'm going to go and lift 1 pound weights every day, 10 times, you know. You're not going to grow your muscles, right? Well, it's the same as everything else. If you're not trying something hard and stretching yourself to the maximum, you you ain't gonna grow. And if you ain't growing, life gets pretty boring. That's when you get old and cranky and nobody loves you anymore and nobody wants to be around you, and life becomes a drudge. And it doesn't have to be that way, as long as you're striving. So let me tell you a couple places that you could go to expand your possibilities of getting the kind of work that you want. Getting out of debt too, that's the other thing. So if you have something else to concentrate on, like your opportunity to give the world the best you have, that's what it is. It's you want to give the world the best you have inside, right? And you want to do that before you die, and that's it. So our struggle in life is trying to figure that out and use anything possible, legal and moral, to try to make that happen. And there's places to do that, and different places work for different people. So everything doesn't work for everybody. I'm afraid I'm going to lose energy, so I want to make sure I keep my caffeine up. Yep. It's funny, the first time I did David Letterman show, he stopped me in middle sentence and said, "Lesko, did you ever think about giving up coffee?" Anyway, so all the things that are available. Now there's a couple places in your local community that you could go to for help, to help think this through, to help get money, to help think that through. One is your workforce development agency. Every county has this. Now they have programs, particularly if you don't have a job or you just quit a job or something, they give you money, like $8,000-$10,000 to train for a new job. And these are kind of programs out there. You got to dig it out of them. That's the thing. Like I just saw a Yelp review about one of these workforce development places, and that's what she said. She said in this review, that's just so neat. This is a government agency being reviewed on Yelp. Said, everybody's complaining they can't get help, money to train, and she said she did it. It took her 4 times to get there and figure out what to say, what to do, or whatever. That's why whenever you go to government agencies, the thing is not to demand anything, and not to act like, hey, I want a grant to, be a happy person for the rest of my life. No, you need help. That's the thing. You need help with a career. You're looking to talk to somebody. What kind of training is available? What kind of help is available? Be as vague as possible because you don't know what to say. I even don't know what to say, and I've been saying this stuff, for 40 years or more. So that's why when you deal with these people, you go in and make them feel they're helping you. You're not dragging it out. Then you have to listen closely, what's there, and ask good questions to get to the real good stuff. Getting the money to start a business. Well, that's another thing too. There are actually at the Workforce Development Center, they have programs for you to have money to live on while you start a business. That's what you could use some of the unemployment money for, but you have to ask. It's a separate session, a separate place or whatever. And that's what I do in my reports. I give you the contacts of all this where you live. But if you want to do that digging, it's there. What I have to do is educate more people to go out and bang on these government agencies, to make sure they get it. Because you think that every fat cat isn't going down to the IRS and making sure that they get every nickel worth of benefits that they get out of this country. And these are the people that say, oh, screw the government, we don't need the government. And they're just milking the hell out of it, with legitimate legal programs. And so that's why the rest of us should know about these. Our programs, for the rest of the country actually are not at the IRS, they're in these other agencies. So that's why they take time to learn and investigate and work on. But they really have the potential. But see what they are. At least one attempt is worthwhile. There are programs now that they want, like even, I read today, even Trump is investing in, job training for apprenticeship programs. That's a big thing. This is where you get paid from day one to start learning a skill that could pay $100,000 a year. Wow, you can't do that at any university, right? You're going to pay them $100,000 before maybe you get a $100,000 job, and it's going to take you 20 years to get there, because that's how long it's going to take to pay back the $100,000 you borrowed to go to college. Well, here's our programs, that you from day one they start paying you to learn. And you go 1 day a week to a classroom to learn, and the rest is on-the-job learning. So if you're like me, you couldn't sit still in school, and you hated school, man, this is perfect kind of stuff, And then also they have programs here where what they do is they pay an employer, to pay employer to pay your wages while you learn how to do the job. So if you're knocking on doors of businesses and they say, well, you don't know how to do this job, you don't have the training or education or whatever, well, how about if you show them, hey, here's a government program that will give you money to pay me while I learn. So if it takes me 6 months to learn this thing on your job, the government's paying you for that. See, and that's why these are options. They don't work all the time. Who the hell knows? But you have to have them. You have to have a toolbox to know all these tools and start learning how to use them. So this one is good then, this one is not good now, and things like that. There's so many things like that are available. Or even government jobs. People forget about government. But don't forget the government is growing every year. Everybody talks about, especially now with the Republicans running the government. Oh, it's going to go away. It's not going away. It's shrinking, in their minds, that's all, but not in reality. And actually, it never has. It's grown every year since the day I was born. And I've been studying it for the last 30 or 40 years. So I know for sure that's what's happening. So those jobs, that's probably the last jobs around with pensions and benefits and all that kind of stuff. And who knows how long that's going to last. But you have your county, you have your state, you have your city, you have the federal government. And if you're wondering how to get like a federal job or whatever, I'm in Vegas, no jobs. Well, you have to look somewhere else, and we'll come to other things too. And sure, there are a lot of no jobs, but there are other places where there millions of jobs have to be filled. With certain skills. You don't have the skills to get the jobs that are being are available. That's the important thing. That's just how to keep keep in the game. Is you can't be looking for the same old job you had because they're going. And now with the change and the disruption in our society, you have to keep up on what's going on and either get skills, learn new occupation, learn new trades, do all the things that are in our economy now that are creating income. It may not be secure income, it may not be the greatest income and everything, but you need income. That's what it is. So, sometimes it's better to stop beating on a dead horse that ain't going to get up and run anymore. You got to find another pony to ride. And these are the sources, that you find that. So there's schools, there's even universities now that you could go for free. If you really need that college degree, man, there's a free university that's very reputable. You can get IT degrees, you can get healthcare degrees, business degrees, and even an MBA. And all it costs is $100 to take the test at the end of the semester. And so if you really want that degree, and that's online, and it's free. There's a reputable person who's been doing this for a long time. They're hooked up with the big universities and everything, but nobody knows. You'll go to, you'll get an ad, or somebody on the internet will say, come to this private school. All you need is $30,000, and we'll show you how to get a loan for it. That's stupid in my mind. Don't do that. Also, your local community college is a way to go. And you contact them immediately. If you don't have a job right now or something, or wondering about, hey, your job is going to be, crap in another year or something and whatever, contact them. Every local community college union ever, because they do have a couple of things. Number one, particularly if you don't make a lot of money, the money you get to go to college will pay for everything there. Or even if you do have a lot of money, they're looking for people because they get training programs from corporations to train people for the corporations that are dying for jobs. They need people in these jobs. So what they do is give money to local community colleges to train people, and so now the people could go to free college at the local community college to train for skills that need people immediately. So 6 months a year, you train for something and get a great new job that's growing, not one that's shrinking. And that's the important thing, that you know about these objects. Just go down. Sometimes these universities are hard to get a hold of because everybody wants to deal with emails and stuff like that. And these are local to you. And don't do emails. Sure, do emails around. Try to find out where that local university is. You want to contact them and go down and make an appointment to talk to somebody. Because you know what? You need career help, in getting a better job and training. And talk to somebody. They know more than ever's on the internet, and it's never understandable what's on the internet. So you have to go back to the people business in life, because the people business are the people who wrote all the crap that's on the internet. And they know what's good and bad about that. A lot of stuff they just have to do because of law or somebody else does that or something. That one doesn't really work. That one does, and that's important, so get there to the school, to the community college, talk to them, because things like, I know in our neighborhood, you know what they're looking for? Sleep apnea technicians. Man, you start out, looking like making $30,000, $40,000 a year with just 6 months or a year of training, and they need them right away, things like that. And it's messing with dials and watching people sleep, I guess. I don't even know. I know one of my boys had sleep apnea, so that's there. But if you're reading, just hanging around the internet and looking at all the junk that's out there in between the good stuff, you'll never find the good stuff, The only thing you find are people want something to sell you because they're going to work like hell to get you, So go down there, and even if you can't make an appointment, show up at the door. You show up the door, they got to do something with you, because that's it. Then you're belly to belly with somebody. See, this is old school stuff, but old school stuff, everything is a piece. You have to know when to use it. Your computer's good for certain things, certain times. The old school stuff, talking to somebody belly to belly is good, because then they can't flunk you. If they're in front of you, otherwise they get rid of you and send you a whole bunch of shit and links and everything, and you're gone for the day. If you're there, right belly to belly to somebody, man, it's hard to get rid of you, And so they want to help, but they got to be given a chance, And so it's easier and nicer to help somebody if they're face to face, And that's the important thing. If you get face to face with these people, any of these government agencies that you're trying to get money with, that's why on the workforce people, you go down and go belly to belly with them, And again, if you can't get on the phone and make an appointment, you just show up at their doorstep. You got to do something with me. They're public servants, but be polite as hell. Don't forget, all these people get the same paycheck whether they work for you for free for the next year, because they have that option. Or they just try to get rid of you as soon as you can. And the only way to work with that is your personality. And that's the key to it. How to use your personality. To me, the internet's becoming more our life is becoming more using people and how to deal with people than figuring out how to use the internet. That's why older people know that, and they think, oh, I can't use the internet, I can't do anything. No, the internet is just really to find out where to go, and if you can get there belly to belly, if they're close enough, you do that. Because you're going to get more out of anything, if you're belly to belly, than if you're texting and emailing and chatting and all that kind of stuff. Then you're just a bit. That's why people are so obnoxious on the internet. They never say that into your face. You can hide and say anything and be obnoxious as you want. And it's easier that way. So that's why. And back even to government jobs. Okay, government jobs are growing too. Now, how do you get help with that? You're elected official, man. They have all. Never take a course. Never give money. My rule of thumb is never give money to somebody else who promises you'll get money. And even me. I guess I'm saying that too. So be careful. I'm selling you sources and options. Whether they work or not, I don't know. I'm just sort of telling you where the girls hang out. Whether you're going to get a date or not is really up to you. So be careful out there, and that's why these people that charge hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and promise you the world, They can't. And the best way to learn and grow for anything is doing yourself. This is what this country's all about, I think, is every person taking care of themselves, figuring out for themselves, or whatever, because that's the way you really grow. If you're going to, worry about somebody else fighting your wars all the time, maybe you guys sometimes you need, there are exceptions to everything, and of course, I'm certainly not right all the time. But the more you can do yourself and learn, the more powerful you become as an individual. And that's why you're going to live a long time now. I mean, look at me. I'm 74. I never thought I'd live this long. When I grew up in the 50s, 74, wow, my grandparents all died way before that. And now I figure I got 20 more years. So I got to start all over again because everything I learned doesn't work anymore. So that's why you don't take advice from people who made it yesterday. Like what I've been doing the last 3 years is studying all this new stuff. I've done over 1,000 interviews of people who have used the new technology, the things like crowdfunding, the shared economy, and things like this is how you keep money and soul together nowadays, is using these new ways on the internet while you build up your own career, while you work on your artwork or whatever the hell you want to do. You're in school or you're looking for a job, because like my son now, he's an IT guy, but he's working on a nonprofit thing. It's called Open Police Complaints, and they're not making money on it yet. So he goes out and delivers food with Uber Eats, and he's goes out and makes $100 like that, just when he wants. I mean, that's what's so neat about the new ways on the shared economy making money. You do it when you want it, if you want it, if the right price is right, whatever. You're not married to some crappy job. You got to be there every day no matter what happens, and make an excuse that your grandmother died when you don't want to be there. And that's what's neat. So that's why there's more ways to make extra income. You like pets? Well, now it's easier than hell. It's a sign up or website, and people are looking for people to take care of their pets because they don't want to send them to an animal thing or whatever, hotel or whatever. When they're out of town, they'd rather give us some nice person in the neighborhood. So you get that. People making 30, 40 grand extra a year on things like that. You make meals, you like cooking. Well, you can make an extra dozen meals when you're making your own, and sell them on the internet, and people come by your house and just pick them up and give you money. And I talked about that otherwise. You like traveling around on your RV. Well, now there's a place, because people like Uber, if you're traveling around, not the people like Uber, people like Amazon, if you're traveling around and recreational parks and even government parkland, they want you to work for a few days while you're in town, just for a few days, and they'll pay your not only wage, they'll pay you a wage, they'll also pay for your campsite and things like that. So what a way to travel the world. You're traveling around and earning some money too as you're out there running around. I mean, that's why there's so many ways to do all this kind of stuff now. No matter what I talked to a woman yesterday that is what she's doing now is renting an apartment and then putting them on Airbnb and making more money. So she's a real estate entrepreneur and doesn't own anything. Like I have an apartment down in Washington, D.C., and I put it on Airbnb, man, because people throw money at us. It's amazing. So they now, the business is you rent an apartment, you don't live in it, you put it on Airbnb and rent it out to people when they come in. Or here's another thing, so many people, see, actually Airbnb now has more rooms than is the biggest hoteler in the world, and they've only been around for 5 years. And they're adding every year. They add the number of rooms they're adding is like the Hyatt hotel chain of hotels. Every year they're growing that fast. So this is where people right now, half the people who travel are using the shared economy. Half. Yeah, last year it was only like 30%. So this has taken off. It's growing. Okay, there's bad things with it. You're right, but you want money? You want to get paid? You want to do something and not starve or have a shitty job? And so you ratchet down all that crap that you probably don't need anyway, and you start living. And to me, at least, this kind of living is flexible. And you're more control of your life, because you're at home. You don't have to sit in traffic for 3 hours a day and put up with all that nonsense. And that's the other thing. Then all these other things. I mean, like in the report I do for 299 things, is uh, I show you how to get money to pay your rent, money to pay your utility bills, your health care bills, your dental bills, all these things because, maybe you're not covered, or whatever. So there's ways to do that. Now, again, those ways, everything I say is not guaranteed. Nobody can, but they're real and it's out there and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people using them. Now, and it's your obligation just to figure it out. Try to see. I mean, it's like anything. I mean, people go to college and they don't guarantee. Man, people go to religion without a guarantee, right? we all profess in religion. We're going to go to heaven. And where's the guarantee there? They don't. The church doesn't give you a guarantee. Okay, if this doesn't get you into heaven, you get your money back. Well, anyway, I mean that's what I mean. It's just there's no guarantees in life. The important thing I think about anything in life is trying. And that's the important. And like religion is trusting your heart. Well, is this what? And I think now, because of the change in our society, what's happening in our world, and what's going on, it is, gosh, it is easier, to follow your heart and to do things about anything like that. And that's the important thing. That we have tools now, everybody, and it doesn't matter if you're Donald Trump or you're a ditch digger. We live in a democracy where it's available to everybody. Look at Donald Trump figured out the system. He doesn't even have to pay taxes, right? Now talk about using the system, right? So why don't the rest of us use the system? We're paying taxes to make an eyelash worth of what he's making, and that's why every fat cat in this country is using it. And that's the problem. To me, I was thinking today, and I'm probably wrong most of the time. Well, actually, I know I'm wrong 90% of the time based on the books I write. But it's like, I think we had to have rich kids work for a living, because it seems like we hand it to rich people. The rich kids. It's not the people. It's usually, the rich family, they start, they didn't have shit, and they work like hell and they build this big empire. Then they coddle their kids and they get them into the best schools, even if they're dumb. They get them into the best jobs, even if they can't do it as well as somebody else, and all this kind of stuff. So it's those people, we got to stop them doing this, It's those rich kids first go work for a living and see what life is instead of having it hand to them. And all that. Why are they the ones that get in all the good schools? Sure, they let in a few to make their soul feel a little better. But if you're the son or daughter of a rich kid, you're getting in, no matter how stupid you are. Right? And so our life works that way, unfortunately. And that's why I think where we're splitting. It's the rich people. In the last 40 years, all the wages are going down except the rich. So they're getting a bigger piece of the pie. And what's happening, now here's an interesting data that shows this, is that when I was born, 1943, people, when I became 35 years old, 90% of the people in my generation made more at 35 or 35 years old than their parents. So 90% of them are doing better than their parents, Now, it's only 50%. See? So the next generation is doing worse than the generation before. This is why people are pissed. So why that's the thing, is that people's kids are not doing as well as they are. And I think that's why the backlash against minorities and things we had programs for, their kids are doing better because they had a fight for a bigger. They're still not equal, so the game's still a bit rigged, but they're growing and the other kids aren't. And I think the opioid thing, that's in middle-aged people. They're the ones that are killing themselves, drinking themselves to death, and stuff like that. And it's because, you're not growing. So I think part of it, and I certainly don't have an answer, whatever, but if the top 20% are taking a bigger piece of the pie, that means, we're growing as a country. We've been growing every year. It never stops. But, in the last 30 years or so, it's the top 20% that's taken all the growth. And the rest, is stuck. So that's why it's stuck. So, but again, that's different issues. That's a little aside. What we all have to do is survive. And what are the tools out there for us to survive? That's why I think the internet is making it happen. You said you wanted to write porn. Well, there's now the platforms. See, platforms are the name of the game now, I think, particularly for jobs and things like that. Because before, like you want to write porn, well, you had to go to every magazine publisher and things like that. And, there's this great hierarchy of people you had to contact or get to know, get a degree in porn writing from the University of Pornography or whatever, and all that. Now it's just on a website. You want to write for a blog, any kind of blog, and there. So people who need writers for blogs are going to this website, and people want to blog are putting their talent there. So that's why they don't care about credentials. They don't care about anything. That's why I think we're becoming a less pedigree society, because people can just judge better on results. And that's the important thing. So that's what's happening. I've interviewed, I told you, about 700 to 1,000 people who've used the internet to make money. And most of them will collect teams of people, not based on background or credentials, but if they could do the stuff, because this is all stuff in new areas that haven't been done before. So they put together a crowdfunding idea, go on the internet, raise money, even without a fat cat. No fat cats involved, and they get the money they need and start their whole business from people all over the world doing stuff, So we have the marketing guy in Asia, this guy in China, this guy down in Latin America or whatever, or a woman or whatever, and they put together the talent. Can you do this? People, if you work for a big organization, they don't know how to judge. They're worried about investors or other people, bullshit things they have to worry about in big organizations. Small organizations, they just want, hey, can you do this shit and show me you can, and fine, okay, I don't care what kind of, background you have, you're doing it, Can you throw a football, It's easy to show them. And that's it. So that's why, but on the big organizations, they have to marry you, right? And so you get pensions and everything, and then it takes 6 years to fire you and all that kind of stuff. So it's a big investment. So it's easier just to say, it's easier. If they went to these 3 schools, I'll hire them, which is stupid. So we're wasting a lot of talent. To me, all this talent now that we have in America is not being used because they don't have some stupid letters after their name, and that is a waste, And so we're not using these things, and that's why we're not getting the best people, because the rich people are hiring their stupid offspring who didn't have to work hard. So they don't have the same ambition as they have. And that's another waste of talent in this country. I don't know, we'll all figure it out before we die, but you have to figure it out for yourself before you die. And that's the important thing. So keep figuring it out for yourself before you die. And if I could help you, here's the sources of lesco.com/talk. So lesco.com/TALK, and that's small letters. I'll make meals to go from my home. I forget. it was in one of the last 3 or 4 videos I did. Or email me and I'll send it to you. Somebody want to know making meals from home. And actually, it's in the beginning stages. It's in Chicago, but I'll send you. They should be growing soon and fast. And there's probably somewhere else locally you could do this. Lesco.com/talk, all small letters. Want me to do the research for you? Lesco.com/research. With all small letters, and to get me is letsgofreeradio@gmail.com, and if I don't answer you in 2 days, you say, hey, you old fart, you forgot me, and start beating on me, okay? Because I don't mean not to do it, I just get sidetracked and early Alzheimer's or whatever it is, but I'm going to be here for 20, 25 more years, so keep beating on me. So let me try to help you, and I'll be here trying to help you too. Thanks.